Yeah, thanks a lot to the Penang show, the huge energy, like the crowd was like super active, super energetic, packed crowd, super interesting speakers. I mean, thanks a lot for this great day, hope you enjoyed it.
The only person that can resolve this is you. I'm not saying how you can resolve it, I'm just saying this is the problem.
But the one thing I'm not scared of is it being a scary monster that will come after my job. It's about using it as a tool to be better, do more, but it's really just that, it's a tool.
Because people said, hey, I don't want to sell time, I want to sell output. There's a difference, because today you say I'm selling time. Now the equation changed because I say I think I'm more productive, I should sell output. And so what happened is many people, we started the freelancers. I will sell output because I'm productive, I can sell output.
So traditionally, we know about white collar, blue collar. So what Jeannie was referring to was new collar. They don't have degrees. They don't go for a 4-year degree program, but they do have skills certification. They go for micro credential and they go for hybrid. So unless you change your HR playbook, your competitor is going to get this talent.
All the best for 2026. It's going to be an exciting year. Have a great one. And again, from us, thank you very much.
Most conflicts at the workplace do not start with rebellion. It starts with confusion.
Approximately 280 Bangladeshi migrant workers in Malaysia are claiming over $694,000 US in unpaid wages.
Between January and October, Malaysian authorities issued 4 to 5 million ringgit in fines for labour offences, with 1,654 investigations opened involving forced labour.
But all of it is avoidable when you understand the rules and there is clarity. In this masterclass, I'll share with you how to understand Malaysia's Employment Act and its Sabah and Sarawak counterparts, manage disciplinary issues legally and ethically, eliminate labour disputes before they escalate. We will dissect real case studies from wrongful dismissal to wage disputes, from disciplinary hearings to forced resignations. Sometimes people tell me this kind of class is useless. You can Google it or ask around. But ask yourself this: do you want to be firefighting when the damage is already done? Or do you want to live with peace of mind solving issues before they ever reach your desk? Because no matter what your life looks like now, it can be better. Hi, I'm Arul and this is my masterclass.
Welcome to Training Marketplace, Malaysia HR Forum.
Your new go-to destination for professional development, upskilling, and corporate training.
At Malaysia HR Forum, we understand that finding the right training that's relevant and trusted can be time-consuming. But we are here for you.
That's why we created the Training Marketplace Malaysia HR Forum, an all-in-one platform where individuals and organizations can easily browse, book, and manage training programs in just a few clicks.
Book online or physical session anytime from anywhere. Anywhere. Literally anywhere.
Going back to again the fundamentals of this program, we do not limit graduates just to HR or business. It is open to any graduates from any field. What we have gone through are the latest knowledge, the latest tools, information, the latest skills that you require to be a HR professional. We have invited companies as well for the graduation day, offering 50 jobs. Later part, you'll hear the testimony how tiring was Saturday, interview day. So the interview started at 9 o'clock and finished almost at 4:30. So I believe many of you all would agree, this is the first time in your life you have had 10 interviews plus in a single day. So I keep telling you all, if you guys cannot nail a job, something is wrong somewhere.
And for me, this Associate HR Professional Certificate has a really big impact on fresh graduates, especially for those who want to explore HR more.
Okay, saya mengucapkan tahniah dan syabas kepada Malaysia HR Forum kerana melahirkan dan memberi peluang kepada mahasiswa dan juga kepada semua orang untuk menimba ilmu, termasuk kami as a parents, belajar apa itu dunia HR sebenarnya.
Dekat sini dan universiti, even though saya ni fresh graduate from HR, masa dekat belajar dia tak ada training, mungkin just belajar biasa, tapi kat sini diorang provide training, ajar satu persatu.
So what I love about this program, I learn about how the HR planning, how to go deep down into the long-term career path, and I really enjoy for this program.
I learn real world business communication, career planning, how to write resume, and also employment laws, not just Malaysia.
It has been such an insightful journey. Other than HR, I can know more what HR is all about, because HR is the heart of the company. The materials, the coach, such an insightful journey, dan saya akan implement not only in my working but in my life as well.
Dan saya tahu apa itu recruitment, saya tahu hala tuju saya, dan saya tahu apa yang patut saya pilih untuk growkan diri saya dalam HR.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys are having a great afternoon. If you're able to hear me or you're able to see me, please let me know. Give me a yes or a thumbs up, so at least I know technically everything is okay. So if you're able to hear me and see me, please give me a yes. All good? Okay, so it is now 3:05, a little bit delayed because we wanted the rest all to join in. As of now, how many do we have online? Okay, we have got 193. I think about total 380 also registered. So I guess some busy, some will take some time, but nevertheless, let us get started. So this is our final webinar for this quarter. Today's webinar is on understanding the definition of wages. So, we'll probably take about 2 hours or so. As always, I'm sure there's a lot of Q&A, so we may drag a little bit longer after 5. But for those of you all, if you need to leave at 5, please go ahead. But those of you all, if you want to stay back for extra Q&A, please stay back, right? So right now till about 5, no break time, no toilet break, etc. So if you're going to go toilet break, you bring the laptop with you or bring your phone with you, right? It's non-stop 2 hours because there's just too much to cover. Okay, so without much ado, let me get started. Speaking on, a bit on the intro about the, how law come into existence, etc. I'll be sharing with you some shocking things that you may not know of, that's going to be the first part of thing. And then I'll go into minimum wage, then I go into definition of, wages, right? So please stay tuned. And if you have any questions that you would like to ask, you can always type it out in the chat box. But as always, my advice is this. Please listen first. Don't be a keyboard warrior. Before you can listen, before you digest what I say, you're, immediately want to ask, right? That's the problem with some HR practitioners. They don't listen, but they prefer to ask. So listen first what I have to say, understand the context that I have to say. And if you still don't understand, then you ask, right? Listen first, then you ask. And as always, I've got some free booklets, free books to be given away. So stay tuned and be always the first one to answer questions that I ask so that you can win this book. Okay, so before I begin, I'm sure many of you all do know me. I'm sure I know quite a number of you all. My name is Arul and I'm attached to Malaysia HR Forum. I've been with this brand. We started this brand a couple of years ago. And I was just like all of you all once upon a time. I was also in HR. But got tired working. Sometimes the job is boring. Am I right? Many of you all are there because you have no job, you have no choice. You need the money, right? Today is Monday. I'm sure some of you all, yesterday, last night, tomorrow is Monday, right? But honestly speaking, I didn't go through that phase. I enjoyed work. I look forward to a Monday. Holidays, 2-3 days is good enough for me. But I think not everyone are in this boat. So sometimes, right, in order to be successful, we have to enjoy what we do, right? You have to have the fun of doing what you're doing. And how can you make it fun? We can only make things fun if we are in control of things, if we operate at the next level, right? When I say operate next level, meaning we don't do firefighting anymore. I'm sure many of you all, you do firefighting. Day in, day out, okay, I've got this issue. Now, for those of you all who have attended a masterclass, we talk about prevention rather than cure. How can we be always one step ahead of our employees and whatnot? So that's a little bit about me. And I'm quite sure all of you all are members of the HR Forum. Otherwise, you will not be listening to this webinar since it's live telecast in Facebook. But again, I would like to encourage all of you all, if you have not done so, get all your team members, right? Whoever is in HR in your company, get them to join Facebook, right? Get them to join because, then you get webinars like this and seminars and whatnot. Okay, so a couple of things I would like to just, make a quick announcement before I go into my topic. On 6th July 2026, we are having the HR Career Day, right? I'm sure you know some of you all may know what is it. But for those of you all, if you don't know what is HR Career Day, we are doing it for the very first time. And of course, as always, if the first time is successful, we will do it again. So the HR Career Day is for companies with HR vacancies to hire HR practitioners at our academy in PJ. So we have closed for the candidate full, 300 of them signed up. So no more new sign up for candidates. But for companies, if you are having any HR vacancy, right? Whether it's recruitment, whether it's payroll, whether it's training, whether it's etc., and you have been struggling to fill, come for the career day, right? There's no cost. It is free for you. We even provide breakfast and lunch. It is fully sponsored by us. So if you have any HR vacancies, sign up and give us your job description. And on that day, which is a Monday on 6th July, you will probably be interviewing 15, 20, 30 candidates in a single day, right? And I'm sure you'll be able to close your job, right? So those who are coming are not fresh graduates. This event is not for fresh graduates. Fresh graduates, we have the AHRP day. So this is for those HR, candidates or job seekers with at least 1 year experience, right? So they are allowed in. Freshies or those who do not have HR experience, we will not allow them in for the career day. So for companies, if you have any HR vacancies, if you are based out in Klang Valley, this is for you to join, right? So please share this with your recruitment team if you're not handling recruitment, and tell them that if you have any HR vacancies, do join us. And on 22nd and 23rd September, we will have the HR Tech edition for this year. Some of you all may have been to our previous, conferences, either in Johor, Penang, or we have done it in Berjaya Times Square. We have done it in Sime Darby or last year Nexus. So this year is going to be bigger than last year. It's a 2-day event. Last year was 1 day. We anticipate to have about 2,000 employees, 2,000 visitors and participants. Last year we had close to 1,700. So this year we're hoping 2,000. We have got lots of speakers. I think there's more international speakers this time compared to last year. And for the very first time, we will be launching, or we will be doing the HR Tech Award. So we will be giving out HR Tech Award to companies and individuals that have embraced technology, who has showcased, best practices and so on. So that will be in day 2. And we might be having a very special VIP coming, not confirmed yet, so I will not be able to say the name. This person is a minister, and I'm sure many of you would probably want to be there to see this person. So I can't say the name yet because it is not confirmed. Once it's confirmed, we'll share it. So there is no cost to participants. So if you want to come, please come. Morning breakfast provided, afternoon break provided, but no lunch, right? No lunch because, it is not easy to organize a conference of this size and, able to give everyone lunch for free. So lunch, you can always go down to the cafe at Nexus. There's a lot of shop lots, a lot of outlets to eat. But anyway, do join us, come and network, come and enjoy the fun. You can check out all the latest technology. Some of you all may be intending to change your HR tool, whether it's a payroll tool or your HRMS tool. Now, this is a good event because here you would have many exhibitors and providers who are going to showcase their products, right? In a single day, you could actually see. And so that is going to happen on 22nd and 23rd of September at the Nexus Convention Center in Bangsar. And, so Metropolitan, it's a college owned by HR Forum. We recently, 2 years ago, we acquired, took some time to rebrand it. So we are giving out, or shall I say, we do provide ODL diplomas. ODL means online distance learning. You don't have to go to class. Everything is through a learning management system. So we have got diploma in business management, diploma in hotel management, diploma in HR management, 3 payment scheme. Either you pay upfront or you pay as you go, or you study first and pay later, right? So this is for those of you all, or if you have any employees of yours who don't have a diploma and you want to do the diploma and you cannot afford to quit your job or do part-time, go weekends, etc. This you can log in anytime, anywhere. So some of you all, if you're doing this, you can log in at night, weekends, public holiday, as long as you complete the hours. And it's MQA approved. You can withdraw PTPTN, you can withdraw your HRDF, but no PTPN. You can withdraw HRDF, you can use your levy money, or you pay cash, or you take a bank loan, but no PTPTN because ODL is not easy to get PTPTN loan. So this is for anyone who is interested to upgrade yourself. And for those of you all, if you intend to upskill yourself with the globally recognized SHRM certification, or SHRM as you may call it, we have got 2 levels, SHRMCP for those with 1 to 3 years experience, and Senior Certified Professional SCP for those more than 3 years. So there's 3 financing options. One, for those who are Bumiputra talents, this is fully financed by YP Yayasan Peneraju. Those, if you're willing to self-sponsor yourself, like we do have quite a number of them who self-sponsor, you can also do that. The cost is 15,000 ringgit. And for those of you all, if your company is willing to sponsor you, you can also, utilize HRDF levy. So there are 3 options for those of you all if you're keen. So if you're keen, you can always just write into Sophie, SOPHIE @malaysiahrforum.com. Okay, so I'm just going to go into the topic for today, which is wages. But before that, as always, I think you are quite well used to these slides. Now, whatever slides I'm sharing today, we will upload in Facebook at about 5:30 or so you can download the slides later. Now, as always, the reminder is that compliance is expensive. Sometimes when we think compliance is not expensive, we try not to follow, and then we get hit by the law, then we pay penalty, and then, it doesn't sound nice anymore. We as HR practitioners, today, if I were to ask all of y'all, are you in full compliance to Employment Act? Do you follow every aspects of Employment Act, whether it's wages, whether it's formula, or any rules and regulations? Now, I'm sure many of you will say, yes, we do. Now, in the next few minutes, I'm going to share a couple of things, and all your yeses may become some yes, some no, right? So compliance is cheaper than non-compliance, right? Sometimes we think that compliance is expensive. Now, it is expensive because you have not evaluated the actual cost. So when we follow the rules, when we follow the law, it is cheaper than not following the law. I've given examples of, not putting our car coupon, right? We decide to go to a shop, we park the car on the roadside, thinking that the town council, officer or the person in charge will not come. We make a quick dash, come back, you see there's a summon on your car. So simple. This is one simple example of not being compliant. If we were compliant, the cost is 60 cents, but because we chose not to be compliant, now we end up paying 20, 30, 40 ringgit, depending on what your town council charges you, right? So to summarize this, compliance is cheaper and non-compliance is more expensive. Now, let me also share this with you. You all may be very familiar with these slides. Now, the reason why I need to share with you is because you will be asking me questions later. And there are certain questions that you ask, you will not find the answers in Employment Act, right? So you must understand how things come into existence. Otherwise, we'll be always guessing our way. Now, when a law goes to the parliament, when the government proposes a law, it goes to the parliament debates the law, and the parliament approves the law, right? We call this as an act. Or for Sarawak and Sabah, it's called ordinance. So when parliament approves the law, for example, Employment Act, parliament debates, parliament approves, the lower Dewan Rakyat, Dewan Negara, then the king will give the royal consent, and then it goes, live. So anything that goes to parliament, that is act of parliament. So Employment Act, Industrial Relations Act, Trade Unions Act, Minimum Retirement Age Act, and many others. Now, that is easy. So if you said Employment Act, open the book, how many days minimum annual leave? It says 8 days. How many days minimum public holiday? 11 days. How many sick leave minimum? 14 days. How many maternity? 98 days. Paternity? 7 days. So it's easy, right? It is clear-cut. It's provided for. Now, on the other hand, what is the minimum wage? Okay, 1,007. Where do you find the word 1,007? Can I find in Employment Act? Where can I find 1,007? The boss says, show me a piece of document that says the minimum wage is 1,007. Can you find this in Employment Act? Answer is no. You will find this in the minimum wage order, right? You'll find there what is the minimum wage for daily, monthly, hourly, right? Minimum wage order. And if the company were to retrench an employee, we were to terminate an employee, business no good, we want to retrench. And these are people earning below 4,000, those manual labor, those who supervise manual labor. Where can I find, the regulation or the rule or something that says that we got to pay 10 days per year of service, 15 days per year of service, and 20 days per year of service? Where can I find this? Employment Act? Answer is no. So you will find this in the regulations. Employment in bracket, termination and layoff benefits, 1980. You'll find it there. the 10 days, the 15 days, the 20 days. Now, let me ask you another question. If we hire someone on a fixed term contract, right? This is for Peninsular Malaysia. We love to hire people on a fixed term contract. 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year we hire. And then we decide not to renew. Do these people, are they entitled to termination benefit? Yes, no? Anyone? If we hire those on fixed term contract, 1 year, we renew the second year, we renew the third year, do we need to pay termination benefit? Any answers? Yes. Right? So Christina, you're right. You have to pay termination benefit. But I bet many of you all here, probably you're hearing this for the very first time. Now, why do I say those on fixed term contract, more than 12 months, you got to pay? Because the termination and layoff regulations 1980, right? You got to get yourself familiarized with all these regulations. The termination and termination layoff benefits regulation 1980 says what? Termination benefit, it is not payable. Or shall I say, termination benefit is payable for all reasons except A, retirement, resignation, termination due to misconduct. So what does the regulation 1980 says? Termination benefit is payable for all reasons except retirement, resignation, termination due to misconduct. So when you look at the employment regulation, so this is a book I would encourage all of you all to purchase one. You can either get it from Popular or you buy it online. Those of you all, if you're joining our masterclass, you'll get a copy of this. Now, in this book, you have Employment Act and all the various regulations. So again, let me repeat. The Termination and Layoff Benefits Regulations 1980 says what? Termination benefit is payable for every aspect except retirement, resignation, termination due to misconduct. So that means when you hire somebody on a fixed term contract, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, and you decide not to renew, this employee has served more than 12 months, you are liable to pay termination benefit. Right? So if you do not know, now you know. So if all this while you've not been paying, you got to pay. Even the foreign workers, the laborers from Bangladesh or Indonesia or Pakistan, when they come in on a what do you call this, on a contract, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, and you decide not to renew, termination benefit is payable. Right? Please check with Labor Department. So now, what about an employee who cannot work anymore because of medical issues? After 5 years, they cannot work anymore, and you put them through the medical process, you terminate them. Do you need to pay termination benefit? Yes. What about a poor performer working for 5, 6, 7 years, and then you decide to terminate them? Do you need to pay? Chances are yes. So please go and get this checked. Right? So remember, if you're not compliant, the penalty is heavy. So please get it checked. Now, then there's also something called as Employment Regulations 1957. How many of you all have never heard of these regulations? Employment Regulation 1957. Some of you all would not have heard. Right? So when you read Employment Regulations 1957 is still valid till today. One of the items there says that if a female employee becomes pregnant, she goes on maternity, the company is required to maintain a maternity register. Yes, I know we may pay. You through your payroll system, you may pay them, the 98 days allowance, etc. You put there paid maternity. Yes, all that is good. You got to pay. But you're also required to maintain a hard copy maternity register. Hard copy. If you don't, that is an offense. Maximum fine 50,000. That means the fine not exceeding 50,000. Right? So if you think you're compliant, I've just proven to you that you're not compliant. So please get it checked. Employment Regulations 1957, the need to maintain a maternity register. Now, what about you having employee records, daftar kerja, your pay slips in hard copy, in soft copy? Employment Regulations 1957 says that all these documents has got to be in hard copy. But if all your employees are, IT literate, you've got systems, apps, and whatnot, etc. Today, some of the payroll tool, HRMS tool uses mobile app. They can download their payslip via mobile. You can, but you must apply for exemption in the permit, or the what do you call the application name is called permohonan menyimpan daftar pekerja dalam bentuk lain. Application to keep employees' records in other formats, because by default it's hard copy. But you want to keep in soft copy, apply for exemption. Anyone here, you have done so? You have applied for exemption. I think it's Borang L, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. If you have done it, give me a yes. So at least I know there are some people out there who are compliant. Anyone? You applied to use hard copy payslips, soft copy payslips? Yes, anyone? You're using soft copy payslip. You've applied to use, why am I getting confused now? Instead of using a hard copy, you are using soft copy. You've applied for exemption to use soft copy. I hope I got it right. Anyone? Yes. So those who say yes, they have got the job done. They have done it. They've done their homework. They have applied to Labour Department to use soft copy instead of hard copy, right? So that is Borang L. So if you're giving soft copy today, you might be in non-compliant. So please get it checked. That is Employment Regulations 1957. So if you do not know, then if I'm your boss, you are putting my company at risk, because I hired you as a HR practitioner to protect the company, to ensure that we comply. But here I have HR practitioners who don't know the law. I'm not saying you're stupid, but I'm just saying that some parts of the law you do not know, and you put the company at risk. But we keep telling the boss, no, boss, everything's okay, no problem, you can trust me. But here now, we have a situation where we are not compliant, right? Now that you know, please get it checked. If you're not sure, call the Labour Department, get their advice, get their guidance, and get it done, right? So that is Employment Regulations 1957. If you want a copy of it, go to our Facebook community. All these documents, all these regulations, everything, you can find a copy there. You might be able to find a copy in Labour Department's website as well. Go to the Facebook community, type it out, download it, read it, highlight, show it to your boss, get it done. Now, what is the maximum overtime allowed? I'm sure you're going to tell me 104. But where can I find a document that says 104? Employment Act? Not exactly an Employment Act, but the law allows the minister to create regulations. Employment Act allows the minister to create regulations. And there's a regulation called Limitation of Overtime, 1980, which says that the maximum hours allowed for OT is 104. Right? Why 104? 26 normal working days times maximum 4 hours OT per day, that is 104. 26 times 4 is 104. So you've got Act of Parliament, you've got the regulation orders. Or for Sabah Sarawak, it'll be rules. Now, this too is easy. You read the document, you download, you interpret, you'll get your answer. But the most trickiest one is case laws. Many of our practices today, many of the, what we follow today arise when the case goes to the court makes a decision. Now that becomes what I call as a case law. For example, if I hire someone on a contract, 1 year contract, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, and after 6 years, I decide not to renew him or her. The question now is this person a permanent employee or are they a fixed-term employee? Anyone can answer me this? If I hire someone on a fixed-term contract, let's say 1 year, I keep renewing them. The renewal is automatic. Every year I just renew. And what is the status of this person after 6 years? Anyone? Anyone can answer me? I'm going to give you this book. The first answer, you get this good to great book. Is this person, but you got to tell me why. Don't just say yes or no, but why. Yes or no and why. Please type it out in one single line. Someone on a fixed term contract renewed yearly, right? Renewed yearly. And what has happened is after 6 years, the company decide not to renew them. What is the status of this person? Are they a permanent employee or are they a fixed term employee? Yes or no, and why? Why? Are you sure? I don't think it's permanent. Anyone can give me the right answer, we'll courier this book to you. Not the answer I'm looking for. Think harder a little bit. Because the job can be naturally a fixed term job. For example, I've got a project in Pahang to build a bridge, and the project will take 6 years. It's fixed term. 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 6 years done. The project done. So in what circumstances are they a permanent employee?
Permanent because it's not a genuine contract.
Okay.
It has been renewed for 6 years.
Okay. So now, who's that person?
Chen.
Okay, Chen, can you please give your house address and your phone number, your office address, phone number to Yun? We'll courier this book to you. Now, I won't give you full point, but you're almost there. Now, the answer is this. If the job is a permanent job, permanent task, but we hire them on contract, what the court will say, the job is a permanent job, but it has been window dressed as a fixed term contract. That is exactly what the case of Hanchiang School. And there are many other cases. Right? So you're almost there. To give you the full explanation, a permanent job should be permanent contract. A temporary job, then a temporary contract, or in other words, fixed term contract. But what we like to do, a permanent job, a job that's going to be there forever, we hire them on fixed term. Now, this is exactly what the Hanchiang School case tells us about. Now, on the other hand, if I were to retrench an employee, should I follow last in, first out? Anyone? Yes, no? Should I follow last in, first out? Or I can just cherry pick. I can just choose whoever I want. Or should I follow last in, first out? Anyone? Remember, retrenchment. Can I just choose anybody? I can choose whoever I want. We call it cherry picking. Can you cherry pick? Or you got to first remove the last in first. That means whoever is new, they go first. The older employee, they stay put. Okay. Whoever said not necessary, you got to go and read back. You don't know what you're saying. The law says that the last in the same job category, I've got 2 technicians, same job category. One joined 2 years ago, one joined 5 years ago. The one who joined 2 years ago have got go first, last in, first out. Now, this comes from court cases. The court have taken this from the Code of Conduct for Industrial Harmony. So now, let me tell you all this. Let me warn you this. You cannot be guessing your way. Right now, what we're doing, we're guessing. No need. Now, we are putting company at risk. Who says no need? The court already says that you must follow last in, first out. The court says so. So, those of you all, if you think last in, first out, not necessary, I'm telling you, please go and read. Please follow Facebook. I think you guys are not following. Right? You got to follow Facebook. Please go and follow Facebook. What the court says about last in, first out. You got to follow last in, first out. But the court also says this. If you cannot follow last in, first out, okay, but you got to explain why. So let me give you an example. I've got 2 technicians. One joined us 2 years ago. One joined us 5 years ago. So 2 years and 5 years. Now, if I follow last in, and they're same job, similar position, same job grade, same capacity. Now, if I follow last in, first out, the employee with 2 years experience should go first. However, I decide to remove the one with 5 years first. That means the first in, go out first. First in, first out. Not last in, first out. Why? Because the one who joined us 5 years ago, this person do not have a diploma. This person can only troubleshoot the older machines, which we have kind of like made it obsolete. The older machines, no more. We have removed most of the older machines. We only have 2 or 3 left. But this young technician, the one with 2 years experience, This technician has got a diploma in mechanical engineering, able to read drawing, the engineering drawing. This technician can also repair all the newer machines, which is much more sophisticated. The older guy cannot. So for this reason, I'm going to remove the older employee first. I'm going to keep the junior employee. Now, if your reasoning is as such, based on the past court cases, it says that no problem. So those of you all, if you don't know what is last in, first out, please go and read up, because it is very risky when you say not necessary. Tomorrow, if your company is going through a retrenchment and your company boss, your MD, your CEO asks you, dear so-and-so, can I choose anybody I want? And if you say, yeah, boss, you can choose. You do that, the employee files a case for unfair dismissal, wins the case, you end up paying 24 months plus. That's a lot of money, right? So please go and read. Please follow our discussion on Facebook. Now, the reason why I get angry with HR practitioners is this. They just guess their way, don't want to read, etc. And then, the best part, they give the wrong advice to companies. And that is risky, right? I'm scolding you, yes, but please go and read, please go and learn, because otherwise we are going to put the company at great risk. And so on and so forth. So remember this, the law, there's 3 ways how law come into existence. Bagaimanakah undang-undang perburuhan, or the employment laws come into existence, wujud? Through parliament, through the ministers, when the minister creates a regulation order, or through case laws. So there are 3. Can we force an employee to apply annual leave? Chinese New Year is coming, or we want to do a plant shutdown, and we said, all of you all, please apply 2 days. Can or cannot? Answer is no, because the court clearly says that this is case law. You will not find this in Employment Act. You will not find in any regulations, because the court says that annual leave is for employees' personal reasons, untuk tujuan-tujuan peribadi pekerja, not for companies' convenience, right? So it is important to know, because a couple of my next slides may touch on this. Okay, so please join HR Forum. Most of the points I've given you, many of the cases, many of the documents, you will find it in our Facebook group. I'm sure many of you all have used it. So, and get all your HR practitioners in. In fact, today, you must get all your HR team members to listen to me. Like it or not, right? It's like you going for a concert, you got to listen to the HR concert today, right? I'm going to share with you on aspects of the law, what you can do, what you cannot do, what you're not doing, etc. So the next time when I do a webinar, please get your HR practitioners or even your bosses to listen. If sometimes the owners of the company, the CEO, don't trust you. Because when you tell them, they say, no, can you ask MEF? Can you ask Labor Department? Can you ask the company lawyer? Because they don't trust you. So why the bosses don't trust us? It's because we have failed to learn up, we have failed to guide them, we have failed to educate them. So like just now someone said, or in fact not someone, there's a few of you all said, last in, first out, not necessary. Now when you do that, you put the company at risk, you terminate somebody on last in, first out, and the case goes to court, the boss will not trust you anymore. So if the boss don't trust you, don't blame the bosses. So what you need to do, whenever there's some information you have learned, learn it up, put it into some presentation, tell the boss, I would like to present something to you. I would like to share with you what has happened. Yesterday, I shared a case on a company terminated a group financial controller, if I'm not mistaken, and they said, no need to do PIP. The board has lost confidence. A group controller, this is an employee, the financial controller, something like that. So whether it's a CEO, whether it's an operator, whether it's a financial controller, if they are not performing, the court expect you to follow certain process. You may call it PIP or whatever you call it, before you terminate them. Even though the person is a CEO. You cannot just say, oh, the company shareholders or the board lost, lost confidence. You can't say that. You got to put them through some form of process to see whether they are performing, not performing, and whatnot. We call this as PIP. Okay, Let me go into minimum wage. What exactly is minimum wage? Minimum wages are basic salary. Only basic salary, not including allowances, not the incentives, not any other payments you pay workers. Purely basic salary. So what is basic salary? Gaji pokok. So if you are paying 1,007, that is basic salary. You cannot say, oh, we got incentives in the hotel, service points. You cannot include, for example, those of you all from the hotel industry, you know, when you give these service points which can be converted to cash, or that's part of basic. No, in the case of Crystal Crown, the court clearly made a decision. Service points are not part of basic salary. Or you give some allowances, whether it's a fixed allowance or non-fixed allowance, you know, variable allowance, you said, oh, together 1,1 plus 400, 600, total 1,7. No, 1,7 is purely the basic salary, gaji pokok. And every time the government announces minimum wage, they always give two timelines, right? They said, okay, those company more than 5 employees, you must start on 1st February, like the last round, 1st February. Or those company less than 5 employees, but you are covered under the MESCO, whether it's 1, 2, 3, you got to start 1st Feb. So what is MESCO? These are the 10 classifications. So companies with more than 5, you got to start on 1st Feb. I mean, first, you know, they'll start on 1st Feb, the last round. And those with less than 5, you can start on 1st August. But those company with less than 5, but listed in MESCO, you are also required to start first. So this was the last round. If you look at last 2, 3 rounds, they always give 2 timelines. And this is the minimum wages table. I'm sure you all have seen it. Now in this table, what you can see, what is the monthly minimum wage? If you are paying minimum wage, what is the monthly minimum wage? 1,007, right? That's gaji pokok. But the minimum wage order also allows you to pay them in daily basis, on daily basis, or hourly basis. So for example, like I'm sure most of you all, if you are from HR, you are paid monthly. You're paid for Saturday, you're paid for Sunday. So in order for me to calculate your 1 day salary, I take your basic, let's say if your basic is 4,000 ringgit, I take your basic, I divide by 31 because, June is what? June is 30. So 4,000 divide 31, or maybe let me take a simpler example. You're earning 3,000 ringgit, right? Your basic salary is 3,000, or your wages is 3,000. And this month we got 30 days. So 3,000 divide 30, that means every day you're paid 100 ringgit. Even Saturday, you're paid 100 ringgit. Sunday, you're paid 100 ringgit. If today is a public holiday and you're not working, you're also paid 100 ringgit. So for those who are monthly salary, you are paid for every day of your, every day in the month, of the month. But some companies, what they may do, they may hire somebody on a daily basis. So for example, now I would like you to come and, come and carry, right? Your job is a material handler. I want you to move this material from warehouse A to warehouse B. That's your job. And you only need to work 4 days a week. Even though in a week we got 7 days, you only need to work 4 days a week. So how much do you pay them? Every day they work, you got to pay them 98.08. So if they work 4 days a week, you calculate the total number of days they work, multiply by 98, total will still be 1,007. So now, there's also a misconception of daily wages. So let's say now, I'm hired. The company says, you come to work every week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's it. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, no work. So I come to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I come to work every day, I get 98, 98, 98, 98. Now what happened on Tuesday, I'm supposed to work, I'm daily paid, but I do not come to work because I'm sick. I got an MC. Do I get my salary for the day? Answer is yes. Because those people on daily, they also enjoy MC. But if I get MC on Friday, I'm not working. Do I get paid for Friday? No. So on the days that I'm supposed to work, for those daily, whether 6 days, 5 days, 4 days, on the days I'm supposed to work, if I fall sick, you still got to pay me. If I take annual leave, you still got to pay me. If it's a public holiday, you still have to pay me public holiday. So this is for daily. Similar concept for hourly. So how do we derive, 65.38? What is the formula? You can see slightly above that, you can see the formula 1,707 times multiplied by 12 months, divide 52 weeks, and then you you divide again with number of days. Whether it's 6, whether it's 5, whether it's 4, you get that figure. Now, the minimum wage order also says this: employees can be paid on piece rated. For example, now, I want to employ you to be an assembler. Your job is to assemble one this device. That's your job, right? Assemble this device, put into the box, wrap it up, and ready for packaging, ready for shipping. So every device that you pack, 1 ringgit. So as a company, I need to give you, your job description or the quantity that you got to package every month. It's 1,007. So when you pack 1,007, during your normal hours of work, I need to pay you 1,007. Why? Because 1 unit is 1 ringgit. When you pack 1,700 units, during normal hours, I pay you 1,007. That is minimum wage. The minimum wage order also allows company to pay an employee using tonnage, task, trip, or commission. So you can choose not to pay basic, but you can pay them through commission. Or, when you see the lorry truck, the cement truck that you see moving around town, the one with the big drum at the back, the cement truck. Now, some of them are paid on tonnage or trip. You perform 1 trip, you deliver the cement, you come back to office, every 1 trip, I pay you 100 ringgit. There are some companies that does that. So the number of trips that you must guarantee this employee during his normal hours of work, you must guarantee him 17 trips throughout the 26 days. So that becomes his minimum wage, right? So this is what the minimum wage order tells us. At this moment, it is 1,700. There's some rumors about the government planning to increase minimum wage, but we do not know when and how much. So, but at this moment, for now, it is 1,007. So that is minimum wage order. And what do you do when the government moves, when the government declares the new minimum wage order? It's going to be, let's say, for example, 1,800. Today is 1,700. And for some reason, the government, or down the road, the government says, okay, the new minimum wage order, for example, 1,008. Some of y'all, new employee, let's say fresh SPM leaver, you hire them, you pay 1,700. Yes, sorry, 1,800, because the minimum wage is 1,800. But what happened to the employees earning below 1,800? Some of y'all, you move everybody to 1,800, right? By law, you got to do that because minimum has become 1,800. Anyone below 1,800, you got to move them to 1,800. But what about people who are currently, at 1,800? Do you move them away from 1,800 maybe to 1,900? I believe you all do. But what you guys could be doing, which I don't want to encourage, is this. You move everybody. So even the C and D performer, remember I always talk about A, B, C, D performer. Even the C performer, the D performer, you move them. So when you move the C performer and the D performer, when you move them, why should I work hard? The A and B, yes, but why do you want to move the C and D? So my advice, if you want to adjust, you give them, only for the A and B, you give them a merit adjustment. The C and D, 1,008. Because you are C and D, I'll pay you minimum. But when you move the C and D, why do you move C and D when they are the one who give you the headache? They are the one who don't work hard, right? So please think about this. Okay, so that's a little bit on minimum wage. So now I want to go into first schedule. So before that, I would like to ask you all, I've got a guest with me right now, listening in, he's sitting here. How many of y'all are client of Brio HR? Anyone? If you're a client of Brio HR, just say yes. Are you able to see the comments? Anyone here, you are a client of Brio HR? That means you use Brio HR. So he's watching me, talking to you right now. Anyone? Yes, Brio HR? No one using Brio HR here? No one? Because they want to give you a small gift. No one using Brio HR? Anybody planning to change your payroll tool to Brio HR? You're looking to, learn more on Brio HR, find out what they have, and become, purchase their tool. Anyone planning to change to Brio HR? No one? That's surprising. About to. Okay, good. So those of you all, if you want to know more on, Brio HR, right? If you want to know on Brio HR, just email. You can share your email to Yon, and Yon can get you connected to Mehdi. Mehdi is a nice, young, handsome, tall gentleman from France, French. Okay, so now let me move on to first schedule. So we all know that today, or ever since 2022, including Sabah and Sarawak since last year, everybody is part of Employment Act. But certain parts of Employment Act do not apply to certain group. So for me to explain to you, I will show this table. Now, please listen carefully. I know you may have listened to this in the past, but those of you all, if you are listening this for the very first time, please listen carefully, because this will decide who enjoys OT, who do not enjoy OT. Now, those in the green box, those who are manual labor, look at the one on the left-hand side first. Those who are manual labor, those who operate or maintain any mechanically propelled vehicle, that means they run vehicles, for example, mechanical lorry, right? Or those who supervise, who jaga another manual labor, your supervisors who look after the cleaners, your supervisors who look after the operators, etc. So anyone who's a manual labor means like technicians, cleaners, and most of the time, more than 50% of the time, they are doing manual labor, right? So this group, whether their salary is above 4, below 4, doesn't matter. OT has got to be paid. If they work on rest day, if they work on public holiday, OT has got to be paid, right? So this group, you don't need to count, OT has got to be paid. But for the other employees, for example, HR, finance, purchasing, quality, R&D, now this group, we call them as other employees, right? On the right-hand side box. For the other category, if you're earning up to 4, you are in the green box. OT has got to be paid if you work OT. You got to be paid public holiday rate if you work on public holiday. If the company terminate you, termination benefit has got to be paid. But those in the red box, that means if you're in HR, if you're in finance, you're a clerk, right? You are quality, you do sales, you're not a manual labor, you're not supervisors to a manual labor, you're not running any mechanically propelled vehicle. That means you don't drive lorries and whatnot, and you're earning above 4, you will be in the red box. Okay? So those people in the red box, no OT, meaning that the OT provision doesn't apply to them. So those in the red box, those of you all who are listening today, I'm sure most of you all are from HR. If you are from HR, right? If you are from HR and the company says, can you come and work on a public holiday? The company can say, you work on public holiday, I give you McDonald's voucher 10 ringgit. Is the company wrong? They're not wrong. Whether you accept or not, it's up to you. Or the company says, can you come and work on a public holiday? I will give you 1 day replacement leave. For the red box, can. Or the company says, you know what, thank you so much for your service, business no good, we're going to retrench, and the company don't pay you termination benefit. For the red box, no issues. But the green box, all the items there has got to be paid. Same goes to Sabah, same goes to Sarawak. So now, let me ask you this, and you tell me whether green or red. I'm going to give you a position and the salary, you tell me green or red. Recruitment executive, their job is recruiting people, earning 3,009. Green box or red box? Adeline will help me to share with me. Recruitment clerk or recruitment executive earning 3,009. Green box or red box? This is important for you guys to know. Green box, correct. Operations director. The person's job is to manage the company operations. Salary 3,005. Operations director. Green box or red box? Operations director. Green or red? Quick. Answers, quick. Green. You're right. A lorry driver driving lorry morning, the whole day. As long as working, he's driving lorry. Salary, 12,000 ringgit. Lorry driver who drives lorry the whole day, carrying barang, unloading the barang, etc., earning 12,000 ringgit. Green box or red box? Anyone? Green. Answer is green. So even a lorry driver earning 12,000 ringgit has got to be paid OT, right? Last, payroll, let's say a finance clerk, the clerk that works in the finance department, processing all the invoices, making all the payments, earning 7,000 ringgit. A finance clerk earning 7,000 ringgit. The whole day, the person will be processing invoice, making sure the payment slip is issued, making sure the bank transaction is done, earning 7,000. Green box or red box? A finance clerk. Correct? Red box. So now I hope you are able to distinguish who is in the green box, who is in the red box. Now, a question. Those people in the red box, if they work on a public holiday, can I give them replacement leave? Yes or no, in the red box? They work on a public holiday, I give them replacement leave. Am I right or wrong? Yes or no? Right or wrong? Or in other words, can or cannot? Can I give the red box? I ask them to work on a public holiday and I give them a replacement leave. Am I right or wrong? Can. Good. Those people in the green box, I give them replacement leave. They agree with me. You know what, boss, can lah, boleh lah, can. I work on public holiday, you give me replacement leave. Right or wrong? In the green box. Anyone? Someone say yes. Can. Cannot. Those in the green box, Employment Act clearly says they must be paid times 2 ORP times 3 HRP. The Employment Act did not say you can pay times 2 times 3 or you give annual leave. No. Or replacement leave. It says that any employees in the green box who works during public holiday, of course the EA did not say green box, red box, that's how I define it. But those people in the green box, Employment Act says that they must be paid 2 times ORP and 3 times HRP if they work more than the normal hours. You cannot replace with annual leave. You cannot give replacement leave. The green box must be paid. If you want to give replacement leave as something extra, no problem. But they got to be paid. Okay, so now, how do I determine, because if you look at this table, it says above 4, below 4. How do I determine what is that 4,000? What is the definition of 4,000? So to answer that, we need to look at first schedule. And the first schedule says, to determine 4,000, right, to determine the wages, whether it's 4, above 4, below 4, you follow the definition of wages in section 2. It's going to be a bit confusing, but please listen. You follow the definition of wages in section 2, but you don't include commission, you don't include subsistence allowance, you don't include overtime payment. Whatever section 2 says, everything except these 3 items. So to make it easier for me to explain to you, I have combined it, meaning I've taken section 2 and I remove commission, subsistence allowance, and overtime. So that's what it says. Now, if you're confused, it's okay. I can understand because it is not easy for those for the first time listening in. It's not easy, but it's okay. Take some time after the webinar, read the slides and try to digest again. If you still have questions, please ask in Facebook. So now I have combined first schedule and second schedule and remove those items that is not relevant to be included into the definition of wages for first schedule. So in order to determine what is that 4K, we only take basic wages and all other payments in cash for work done. That's all. Don't include overtime. Look at the bottom, overtime, subsistence allowance, commission, not included. Bonus is not wages. Gratuity is not wages. If you pay them something to defray, that means they have incurred some expenses because of the job, you pay them back, that is not wages. EPF is not wages, right? So you remove all of that, only basic salary and all other payments in cash for work done. So now a small exercise. 4 examples, illustration 1, 2, 3, and 4. So basic salary allowances is part of wages. Commission, remember, is a no, right? No commission and don't include overtime. So the first illustration, total 4,000, entitled for OT, yes. Second example, 2512, don't include 1,000 because overtime is not included. 37, it is wages, right? They enjoy OT. Illustration 3, 38 plus 15, 200 not included because it's commission. Total 3950, OT is a must. And illustration number 4, 38 plus 300 is more than 4,001. So this person, he or she is excluded from the definition of OT, right? The OT clause. So these are for those people in the other category. Because if they are in the first category, lorry driver, operator, supervisor of manual labor, this group, you don't need to count. If they are manual operator, manual labor, they supervise manual labor, they drive lorry, etc., no need to count. Whether 2, 5, 8, 10, 100, OT is entitled. But for the other employees, the white collar guys like you, right? HR, finance, payroll, purchasing, sales, R&D, etc. If you are earning below 4, this is to calculate. But if you guys are earning above 4, you are excluded. So I hope you can understand this. But for those of you, if you're listening for the first time, you find it hard to understand, confused, it's perfectly fine because not easy for a first timer to understand. So when you get this slide, read it. You don't understand, ask in Facebook. Or I can explain later as well if you have enough time. So now, always remember this, Employment Act, they have their own definition of wages. EPF, they have their own definition of wages. And SOCSO and EIS, they have their own definition. HRDF, they have their own definition. So because each one of them, they have their own act. So Labor Department, governs Employment Act, their say is only on EA. EPF, they can only talk about EPF. So now if you go to Labor Department and argue at EPF, Labor Department may not be able to help you on this. So if there's an issue of EPF, for example, if your employer decides not to include meal allowance into EPF, you got to go and complain to EPF. If they don't include meal allowance in the calculation of ORP, then you got to go to Labor Department and complain. So different act. So remember this, EA, EPF, SOCSO, HRDF, they have their own act, they have their own ACTA, they have their own definition. But what you can see similarities, right? So now if you look at this screen, if you look at the screen right now, EA, EPF, almost similar. For example, traveling allowance is not wages as far as EA is concerned, as far as EPF is concerned. But if you look at it again, when a company pays bonus is not part of wages, annual bonus not part of wages. So therefore, when you calculate ORP, you don't include bonuses in. But you don't see that in EPF Act. So these are the differences. Now, another thing that you might want to take note of is this, and probably is going to be a shocking thing for many of you all. When a company pays contractual bonus, or you want to call it financial performance bonus, non-contractual bonus, doesn't matter what label you call, right? Label is not important. You give this bonus, everybody gets the same amount. Meti gets the same amount, Yon gets the same amount, Adrian gets the same amount, everybody gets the same amount. That is not wages, as far as EA is concerned. But when you pay bonus based on individual performance, so Adlin may get 1 month, another employee may get 1.2 months, and another employee may get 1.5 months. So the bonus amount differs from employee to employee because you base on their performance. Now that is part of wages. That has got to go into the ORP calculation. Why? Because when you pay the employee bonus based on their performance, that is considered payment for work done. You do more, you do well, you get A, you get 1 month. You don't do well, you get half month. So if you are paying bonus, different employee, different amount, that is part of wages. So please take note of that. When you calculate retrenchment benefit, that has got to be included. When you, let's say in December, when you pay different employee, different amount, and if they are under the green box, that has got to go into their ORP calculation. But if you're paying the same bonus to everyone, irrespective of their performance, etc., that can be excluded. That is excluded from the definition of wages. So please write this down. Please go and get it checked. If you're not doing it correctly, at least this year when you pay your bonus, you're paying different employee, different amount, please make sure it's part of wages. So this slide again is EA and SOCSO, EIS and SOCSO. Now again, you see similarity here. Now one thing you'll see similarity, all, whether it's EPF, income tax, EPF, EA, EIS, SOCSO, they all have excluded traveling allowance is not wages. Right? Traveling allowance, not transport. I'll explain in a short while the difference between transport and traveling. So traveling allowance is not wages. So if you give somebody a traveling allowance, you can choose, or you do not have to include into EA or EPF or SOCSO contribution, traveling allowance. So for you to know more, right, when you get these slides, you can, I hope the links are still active because these slides are prepared in January, but you can always go to the Prekeso website, download their latest act. So remember this, different act, their definition may differ. So don't just take Employment Act and say that EPF, income tax, everybody follow the same. No. Every of these act, they have their own definition. Because why? They have their own act. So you can also see here, EIS and SOCSO is not the same, right? Annual bonus, both are excluded. Any other remuneration excluded. Traveling allowance excluded, right? So there are some similarities, there are some differences, but the similarity is more than the differences. Okay, so that is as far as the difference of the definition of wages across all these acts. Confusing, yes. Those of you on payroll, you got to master this. Those of you are not in payroll, I think it's fine if you do not know it, but at least you have some idea. Okay, yeah, the wages definition is not the same across all the 4 regulations. Now, so I've already covered just now. Okay, now, sorry, this slide. What exactly is wages? So if you look at section 2, it says that wages means basic wages, gaji pokok, and all other payments in cash for work done. But does not include. That means whatever you pay employee, right? Anything you pay, in a very layman, in a very basic term, everything is wages. Kesemua yang you bayar adalah gaji, wages. Kecuali, except, right? Everything you pay is wages, except if you provide a house, not housing allowance, house. You provide meal, real food, not meal allowance. You pay to EPF or traveling allowance, gratuity, annual bonus. Some bonus you all pay, okay, everybody get 1 month. You pay one time. That is not wages. Or everybody get 1 month, but you pay in 3 installments or maybe 4 installments. January 25%, April 25%, July 25%, September 25%. Total 100%. Everybody gets. That is not bonus. That is part of annual bonus. So in other words, what section 2 says that everything that you provide to employee, it is wages except A, B, C, D, E, F. So anything that you pay, if it's not A, not B, not C, not D, not E, not F, it is wages. So if you pay attendance allowance, it is wages. If you pay KPI allowance, it is wages. If you pay hardship allowance, it is wages. If you pay meal allowance, it is wages. If you pay shift allowance, it is wages. So my advice and my caution to all of you are using various types of payroll tool. Am I right? You may be using brand A, brand B, brand C. You got to make sure that whatever payroll tool that you use have been configured correctly, right, to include all this into wages. It is your job. So when you engage a payroll tool, you got to ensure that this payroll tool comply with what are the definitions. So meal allowance, wages. Chemical allowance, wages. Commission, wages. Special incentive, wages. Because that is considered as payments in cash for work done. So some payroll tool will give you the option to tick. That means they ask you to tick. The payroll tool enable the option, but you got to decide whether you want to include or not include. So those, some payroll tool is configured. The moment you say allowance, it's included. The moment you say not allowance, the tool excludes. But some payroll tool will give you the option to decide. So you need to know whether to tick the box or not to tick the box. So if you decide, no, meal allowance, KPI, not wages, commission is not, you don't tick. You are going against what Section 2 says on the definition of wages. So please write this thing down. Go back into your payroll tool, look into all the options and see whether you have done it correctly. Right? If no, talk to your vendor, find out from them. I'm sure they know what is it. Talk to them whether is it correct or not, and so on. But if you don't check, if your payroll tool vendor also not accurate, you cannot tell labor department, I'm not wrong, my payroll vendor. Labor department will come after you, not the payroll vendor. And so remember this, if you see Section 2, traveling allowance is not wages. If you look at what EPF says, what EA says, what EIS says, even HRDF, traveling allowance is not wages. But what about transport allowance? So transport allowance is wages, traveling allowance is not wages. So you may ask me this, what if my traveling allowance is not a fixed sum? Every month it differs. As long as you call it transport allowance, it's wages. So typically, transport allowance is a fixed sum because you don't want to go into this headache, asking for proof of traveling, proof of toll, proof of petrol. You don't want to go to all this headache, too much of paper. You know what? As a sales guy, I give you 500 every month, right? That is transport allowance. Typically, a traveling allowance, they pay and claim. Typically. So transport is wages. Traveling is not wages. So let me go back to the previous two slides, right? EA says again, if you look at this slide, traveling allowance is excluded. EPF also excludes traveling allowance. EIS also excludes traveling allowance. SOCSO also excludes traveling allowance. All are excluded. So traveling allowance is not wages. Transport allowance is wages. So sometimes some companies, what they do, they use this thing, in English we say interchangeably. They rojakkan the term. Actually should be transport, they call it traveling. Actually should be traveling, they call it transport. And of course, some smart HR, smart bosses, smart company, they know this definition. By right, it is traveling, but they pandai call it transport just to avoid paying the ORP on it. Avoid putting the ORP. Now, if tomorrow employee knows and they find that why am I not getting more, they bring this to labor department, labor investigates, and it's proven that it's transport, be prepared to pay a fine not exceeding 50,000 ringgit. Remember, the general penalty for any offences, except for some others that has got 100,000 fine and so on, is maximum fine 50,000 ringgit. So if you are giving transport allowance and travelling, please get it checked whether the definition is correct. Please make sure that your payroll vendor has classified them correctly. Because remember, when you use a payroll tool, you're paying EPF via the tool, you're paying EIS via the tool, you're paying the OT via the tool. All the calculation done by the tool. So please ensure that your payroll tool also uses the right definition. As I said, the payroll tool vendor makes mistake, is your mistake because you did not check. So please get it checked. And how do you calculate ORP and HRP? So this is something that all of you are very familiar. So how to calculate 1 day ORP? ORP means what? ORP is not 1 day salary. Yeah? 1 day salary and ORP is two different things. When you calculate 1 day salary, let's say for those of you all, if you are working on you're paid a monthly, all of you all, I'm sure your monthly salary, 1,007, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 or more. So for you, if I want to calculate what is your 1 day salary, I take your wages, I divide number of days in this month. So if you're earning 3,000, this month got 30 days, so 3,000 divide 30, that means every day you come to work, the company is paying you 100 ringgit. That is for the salary for 1 day. But when I want to compute ORP for the purpose of overtime, for the purpose of annual leave, we take the monthly salary or monthly wages, we divide 26. That is ORP for 1 day. But if you want to know what is the ORP, the HRP, hourly rate of pay, then you further divide. You divide 26, you divide 8 or 7.5, depending on how long is your, what is your basic hours per day. So for those of you all, if you're working 8 days, you divide 8. Sorry, 8 hours per day, you divide 8. For those who are working 7.5, you divide 7.5. So what you're seeing here is provided for in Section 60 of the Employment Act on ORP and HRP, which is hourly rate of pay. And now, this could be something new to some of you all. When we say wages in Section 2, right, it only covers work. You can see on the left-hand side, wages in Section 2 covers everything except traveling allowance. You see at the last part, traveling allowance is not wages. But work done on rest day, work done on public holiday, all these are covered. But when you compute ORP, right, when you calculate ORP, you do not need to take into account the pay on the rest day. That is not part of ORP. So when you give a meal allowance on Sunday, Sunday is a rest day, you do not need to include into your ORP. But some of you all, we said, no, we don't have all this complexity. We want to include everything in, etc. No problem. Because EA also says this, right? In my own words, you can follow any other formula, but it cannot be less than what is provided for in the Act. So the Act says that whatever they work on Sunday, you do not need to calculate into ORP. But you want to include, that is bonus, so the workers are getting more. You can give more, but they cannot give less. So for ORP, you can choose not to include work done on rest day, work done on public holiday, and any incentive plan approved by the Labour Director General, not your boss. Your boss say, okay, this incentive plan I approve. This incentive plan that you're seeing on the screen right now, you look at the bottom under Section 60I(3), it says that the incentive plan must be approved by the Labour Director. If it's approved, you can choose not to include into the ORP. Not any incentive plan. So to know more, please go and check out Section 60I in bracket 3. You will find this provision. So I think this is the old story. Should I divide 8? Should I divide 7.5? So if the daily hours, the normal hours per day, some of you are working 9 hours. You go to work at 9 o'clock, you finish work at 6 o'clock, and lunch 1 hour. So your total work hours is 8. Right? If you calculate again, 9 to 6 is total 9 hours. You minus your 1 hour lunch is 8 hours. So your basic hours is 8. So your HRP formula, you divide 8. Some companies, they work 10 hours a day. They are in the total hours is 10, minus lunch 1 hour, that means the work hours is 9. But ORP, the maximum is 8. You cannot use 9. Even though you're working 9 hours or you're working 8.5 hours, Section 60I only allows 8. But if your work hours is 7.5, so some organizations, what they do, they work 6 days a week, 7.5 hours, the basic hours daily. For those companies, they need to divide 7.5. So what do you decide? Based on your total normal hours per day. Now, when break time is not work. So if you go back to Employment Act, you look at the work hour provision, it says that any hours or any time that the employee, that those hours not at the disposal of the employer. That means that you're going, for example, during lunch, you go to the cafe, you relax, you play phone, maybe you just take a micro sleep, whatever, etc. Or you want to go in chit-chat, you want to go to washroom. Those are not work hours. Work hours are when the company instruct you to do work. That means you are at the mercy of the company. That means your work hours is at the disposal of the company. Company can say, okay, do work now. That is called work hours. So if you're on your break time at your own leisure, that is not work hours. So what is the rate if somebody works OT? It is 1.5. Now this table is so simplified, right? Haji Hussein and myself, we have done this table, simplified. But if you go to Employment Act, you've got to find a different provisions here, there. You've got to look at off day, rest day, public holiday. Now, we have put in one simple table. So for those of you all, if you're paid monthly, if anybody on a monthly rate of pay, in the green box, red box, you do extra hours, company don't pay you, thank you for your free service. But those in the green box, when you work OT, the OT rate has got to be 1.5. That is given in Employment Act. If the company asks you to work on a public holiday, right, those monthly paid, the company say, hey, can you come and help to troubleshoot? You just come for 1 hour during public holiday. Just 1 hour. The company will have to pay you 2 times of your ORP, irrespective how long you work. Even though you work for 1 hour, the company is going to pay you 2 times. And if you do OT, that means after the normal hours, if your normal hours is 8, so you come and work during public holiday, you work 8 hours, then the company says, can you work some more? That is already considered OT ready, right? Or these normal hours, after normal hours, then it will be 3 times your HRP. So whatever you see here is provided for in Employment Act. Similarly, if you are weekly, if you do OT, is 1.5. Hourly, also 1.5. Piece rated, remember I said, 1 piece is 1 ringgit. Now, if you produce 1 piece, this product, after your normal hours, during your OT hours, I cannot pay you 1 ringgit anymore. Now I got to pay you 1 ringgit 50 cents for every piece. That is the OT for you, right? So you've got the off day OT, you've got the rest day pay and public holiday pay. So almost quite similar, except, for piece rated, it's 2 times. If you're daily, right, it's 1 time ORP, and for the first 4 hours, and the next 4 is 2 times ORP. So please familiarize yourself with this. So for those of you, if you're doing payroll, sometimes I've heard cases like this. What is the rate? I do not know. They say, I don't know. I do not know. I just rely on my payroll tool. But you must also know whether your payroll tool is using the right formula, right? You trust the payroll tool blindly. So if you want to rely on the payroll tool, okay. But please also ensure that the payroll tool has been configured. The formulas are correct. So I would encourage all of you all to print this, paste it on your table, so that you start to understand better. Whenever you do calculation, right, you can also see whether the formula is correct. Sometimes you can do cross-check, right? See whether correct, do a bit of manual calculation. Okay, similar, right? Now, EA uses 2 decimal point. So when you pay salary, 2 decimal point. Not 1, You cannot round up to 1, it's 2. I want to ask you all this, and anybody can answer me this. I would like to give you this book, sponsored by Brio HR. Okay, so now, why off day is 1.5, but rest day is 1.0? So when you work on a rest day, let's say Sunday is a rest day, you're paid 1.0, but if you work on an off day, it's 1.5. The first answer gets this book. Why? Why rest day is 1.5? Anyone? This book is worth 30 plus ringgit. All the act is all here. Why? Okay, good. Who is that? Sounds like she won before. Okay, never mind. Christine, please email, Yon is online. Let her know your address and your phone number. We will courier this book to you tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So yes, so what Christine says, so if you look at this table now, right? If you look at this table, EA is designed for 6 days work. So when you work on a Saturday, Saturday is actually a normal day. But your company says, never mind, you take off. No need to work today. So Saturday becomes an off day. But you will not find this label in Employment Act. So off day, it is part of a working day. So if anybody works on a Saturday, in this example, it is Monday to Sunday. Some of you all may be working, your work week could be Thursday to Wednesday or Tuesday to Monday. It doesn't matter. But when you work on an off day, it is actually a working day. That is why it's 1.5. So I hope this explains. Now, section 59.1, and this also apply Sabah Sarawak, same concept, except that your section will be different. So whether Sabah Sarawak Peninsula is the same. Now, some companies, what they do, they work only 5 days. They got 2 days. Rest day is only 1, right? The last day is a rest day. So this shall become an off day. So if you have, now you see my fingers, 7 working days, right? The company says the 3rd day, the 5th day and the 7th day tak payah masuk kerja. No need to come to work. So what happens? This is off day. The 3rd day is off day. The 5th day is off day. And the 7th day is a rest day. Okay? So I hope you could understand this. Okay. And so that is on the off day and rest day. OT, as you know, maximum 104. Why 104? 26 normal days and 4 hours per day. Now, some of you all would be asking, why is it 26 normal day? Now, EA cannot have multiple definition. February, 22 days, April, 27. So a standard formula, 26 days. Because in EA's definition, roughly I could say, of course, EA doesn't explain this, 1 month is 30 days. There are 4 Sundays. So 30 minus 4, 26. Can the company exceed 104? For some reason, your operating concept model is different. And you want the employee to work 110 hours of OT. So can you exceed 104? You can, with approval from Labour Director, from Labour Department. You got to submit borang E untuk melebihi, to exceed the normal hours, to exceed 104. So this is provided for in section 60A4, which says that the overtime is 104. If you want to exceed, then you got to apply for approval to exceed 104. There are some cases of some companies, they got 110, 115, right? You apply, if you get, you got it. If you don't get it, you got to follow 104. And so now, who is entitled to OT? We all know the red box is not entitled. So those in the green box, they are entitled to OT. So I hope by now, you know green box, red box. So every time you ask any question in our Facebook group or WhatsApp group, we will always, or I will always refer to green box, red box. So when I say green box, you must know who's in green box. Don't ask, what is green box? Then I'll have to send the nuclear bomb to you, right? So you must know what is a green box, what's a red box. Easy for us to explain. So when you know all this, right, when you ask question, so when we say green box, it's so easy to explain. Or when we say red box. So please note who is in the green box, who is in the red box. Now, all of you all here today, if you are in HR or finance or admin and you are earning above 4, you are in the red box. If you are in finance, HR, payroll, admin, you're earning below 4, you are in the green box. All of you all here today, if you are in this role, finance, HR, you are considered as other employees. So if you are below 4, green box. Above 4, red box. Later, when you get these slides, you can see the 2 links at the bottom. If you want to know what is manual labor, how to define manual labor, what kind of roles or tasks manual labor, these 2 links give you some good description. We have also covered in Facebook. So you can also go to Facebook, type manual labor, scroll for some relevant discussion. You can also read it there. So everybody here, please know what is manual labor. The next time if we meet, I'll ask you what is manual labor, right? You got to know. And working hours. So I think all of you all know 48 hours become 45. But what many of you all may not know, some would know, some may not know, look at item C. What it says, in excess of a spread over a period of 10 hours in any one day. So in other words, what this clause says, some of you may have overlooked, right? I'm sure some of you all would know. So let's say now I explain to you in a very easy manner to understand. My basic hours is 8 hours per day, plus lunch 1 hour. But the company want me to stay for 12 hours, but my total work hours is only 8. They stretch the hours, too many breaks. So what this provision says, what 60A1C says, if the employee stays beyond 10 hours, whether it's a break or work, that entire period is overtime. That's why companies in manufacturing sector, for example, or service sector, in a 12-hour shift, the last break, it's always before jam ke 10, the hour number 10. Why? Because if the break is after the 10th hour, that has got to be a paid break. Sabah, Sarawak, Peninsula, all same concept. All the same. So please read up what is section 60A1C. We have discussed in Facebook. So go and read out Facebook. And last night, I shared an illustration in Facebook. If an employee come late to work 2 hours and they stay back, let's say, for example, the normal hours is 9 to 6. After 6 is considered OT. So the employee was late 2 hours, came in at 11 o'clock, but they work 8 hours. They also work until 8 o'clock night. So the 6 to 8 in the evening, is it normal hours or overtime hours? Even though they came in late, it is overtime. Unless your company have a policy that says, we have flexi work. You can come in anytime. OT only starts after 8 hours. Then, in that scenario, no OT. But if your work hours is fixed, you come in at 9, you work until 6, you stay back for OT, that is OT. Now, let me tell you where the danger is. Some companies, you practice flexi hours. Some companies, your hours are fixed. Those companies with fixed hours, I think you guys are on the safe side. But those companies that practices flexi hours, what you might be doing wrong is this. If it's flexi hours, they complete the first 8 hours, then they start to do OT. So if you want to calculate, you want to give extra, no problem at all. But if it's a fixed hours, your payroll, the setting is fixed. 9 is your time in. 6 is your time out. 6 to 8 is your OT. Your payroll is set. Your policy is set. But what you guys do, you allow flexibility. So they come in at 11, they work until 8. By right, 6 to 8, the payroll system has got to pick up as OT, not normal hours pay, not your basic pay. So, but if you close one eyes, no problem, because the employee benefits, no issues. But you are going to overpay this employee. So a smart employee will say this, if I'm a smart employee, what I'll do, I'll come in late, I stay back, because if the last 2 hours, I'm going to get automatically 1.5. I get my basic salary, I get 1.5. So without you realizing, you might be overpaying your employee for those who come late. Those who come on time, they will be shortchanged. Not shortchanged because you cheat them, but they will be paid lesser compared to these guys, because these guys, are paid more because the 2 hours automatically picked up as OT. So go and check, get this checked. Make sure that your payroll tool has been configured as such. But if you want to behave Santa Claus, Merry Christmas, no problem, we are willing to pay, okay, etc. One fine day, if you decide, oh, you know what, now the company is in trouble, financially we are difficult, we want to change this back. Now remember, this may have become an implied term. When the thing becomes implied, it becomes a condition you cannot change. So companies have this mindset, this attitude. During good time, no problem, boleh, Merry Christmas, jingle bell, jingle every day. But when company goes into financial crisis, now you want to start saving costs, you start saying, oh, this one, we are unnecessarily paying 1.5, we want to change. I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that may have become an implied term. So remember, if you read EA, it says that there are express condition and implied condition. Express is whatever is written. Tersurat. If it's written, it's implied. Express. Tersurat is written, you can read. Apa-apa yang not written, tersirat, not written, that is implied. Let me give you another common example. And companies sometimes they think they're smart, but okay, you're smart today, but you're not smart forever. They refuse to put something in black and white. So they've been giving some special payment. Every year they give. Ang Pao. Chinese New Year Ang Pao. Every year they give. Rain or shine they give. Maybe last year 500, this year 400, right? And for the last 15 years, they give Ang Pao every year. But this year, the company decide not to give Ang Pao. You all know what is Ang Pao, right? During festive season, the pocket, whether it's a green or red, red packet, the company give 200, 300, maybe 50, maybe 1,000. This year, company don't give. Now, there's a case that has gone to the court. Go to Facebook, you type Ang Pao, this will appear. When you have been giving every year non-stop, and you suddenly decide not to give, this could be an implied benefit. So don't think that I don't get it, I don't write it, I'm safe. So please learn up what is implied condition, what is express condition. So I have spoken to many payroll, guys, people do payroll. Some of them, they know the surface, but they don't know all this very intrinsic, all this, very, very technical things. So please get it checked. Please learn up. Please make sure that your payroll tool is configured accordingly. Right? There are a lot of payroll tools in the market. I can tell you this. There are many payroll tools in the market. How sure are we that this payroll tool are configured correctly in accordance with the Act? Not everything is written black and white. See, many things I've mentioned just now, it's not covered here. That's why you need to know how to interpret. Section 18A, something new that was incorporated 2022 for Peninsula. Sabah, Sarawak, same as well. So if the month is incomplete, that means the employee started working, today. So you got to pay from today till 30th of June. Or the last day is today. So how do you calculate? This is the formula. Wages, divide number of days during this wage period, multiply by the number of days he's eligible for. Easy, no big deal. So why wages we divide 26? Why annual leave we divide 26? The first answer, you win this good to great. Sponsored by Brio, he's here. So why annual leave divide 26? Common sense. EA do not explain. EA doesn't explain why annual leave divide 26. The first answer, you win good to great. 5, 4, 3, 2 is common sense. Why annual leave you divide 26? Exactly. So why? Because you don't apply leave on a Sunday. You apply leave on a working day. So 26 working day, you apply leave on 26 working day. So who's the first one answer? Okay, Wong, Miss Wong or Wong Shui, please give your office address and your contact number to Yon. We'll courier this to you. Now, let me ask you one technical question. If an employee, let's say Saturday is your half day, right? Some companies you work 5.5 days, right? So if an employee applies leave on Saturday, it's a half day, should they apply 1.0 or 0.5? This one no give lah, but extra info. Should they apply 1.0 or 0.5? Anyone? Saturday is a half day. I want to apply leave on a half day. 0.5 or 1.0? Correct. The answer is 1.0. But if you want to make it 0.5, you can. You're making it more favorable. No problem. But if you're going to use 1.0, you're not wrong. But some companies, they want to be a bit more relaxed. They want to give more benefits. They say if you don't come half day, you apply 0.5. But Saturday is considered one working day. Okay, and yeah. So let me see if I have anything to ask. Okay, now under section 60A, right, it says that salary must be paid by the 7th of the following month, right? However, if it's a rest day, public holiday pay, overtime, you can choose not to pay by the 7th. So, for example, Merdeka is in August, 31st August, right? They work. Some of you all, the Merdeka, if they do OT on Merdeka, they work on Merdeka, that pay on Merdeka, you pay on the 7th of September. Not wrong. But you can also delay and pay before September wage period ends. For rest day, public holiday pay, and overtime. But wages must be paid. If you ask me what is a good practice, I would say pay everything one go. Because why? It complicates the process, right? But if you are doing it, fine. But to me, you know, are you saving any money? Answer is no, right? You're not saving any money. Okay, but you just complicate things more. Now, this could be something shocking to many of you all, probably hearing for the first time. Some of you all know it, but I know you will tell me that this is not easy to observe. Now, if the contract terminates today, for example, fixed term contract, today is the last day. Today is what? Today is 14, right? Or the 15, or the notice, the employee already given you resignation notice, the notice, today is the last day. When should you release the salary? Answer is today. Section 20 says that it shall be paid today, not next week, not on the 7th of the following month. But many of you are paying on the following month, right? 7th. But Section 20 says today. If the company terminate the employee because of misconduct, breach of contract, you terminate them, you don't give notice. When should you pay? Today. Today the contract ends, you pay today. If the employee terminate by not giving notice, right, he resigned without notice, you must pay no later than the 3rd day after the contract ends. So the contract is today, terminates today, you must pay by Monday, Tuesday, latest by Wednesday, you must pay. So that's what Section 21 says. So for some of you all, this could be something new. So go and read up, go and get advice from Labour Department, understand better, and tweak your process so that you are in compliance. Advance. Now we all know, if you want to give advance to employee, cash advance, right? When you give cash advance, you must give the advance, you cannot give more than 1 month. Cash advance, maximum 1 month. However, Section 22(1) says this, and similar for Sabah, similar for Sarawak. If the employee wants to buy a house, want to buy a land, want to buy a motorcycle, he want to pay for medical expenses for himself or his father, mother, wife, son, daughter, or he wants to pay for his studies or studies for the daughter or the son, the advance can be more than 1 month. For A, B, C, D, E, F, E, it can be more than 1 month. But if it's just a mere cash, it cannot exceed 1 month. And deduction, same thing as well. When you deduct an employee's wages, right, it cannot exceed more than 50%. Okay, I give you 1 month extra salary today, advance. Next month, I want to deduct 100%. Cannot. The maximum is 50% of what you gave. However, when the employee in his contract resign, the notice period, you can deduct 100%, right? All that you can. Housing loan, you can see, number 9C, repayment of housing loan with prior permission. That means with approval from Labour Department or labor director, general, you can deduct more than 50%. Okay. So what are the items we can deduct? Those in green, you paid extra, last 3 months, you overpaid a salary. You can deduct this month. Or notice period, income tax, SOCSO, EPF, all these no need permission, this all allowed. Or if there's any other law that says please deduct, you can deduct, like income tax, right? Overpayment of tax or underpayment of tax, etc. Item in orange, you can only deduct with the request of the employee. So company has a registered union, you've got a blanket approval, employee give you a consent, please deduct my union fees and pay to union. Or if there's a sports club and so on, also, or cooperative, all this can. But item in red can only be deducted with employee's request and approval from labor director. But none of the green, orange and red allows you to deduct for damage of company property. Employee is given a company car, he beat the traffic light, there's a summon, you said I deduct from salary, not allowed. He broke the door, not allowed. He took some company money into his pocket, not allowed. So you cannot deduct fines from his salary. You want, you ask him to pay you separately. So that is section 24. Now, I want to just give you one, maybe one suggestion. Tell me if you want to know this. Is it difficult to retain blue-collar workers? Yes or no? I want to give you one idea. Easy idea. If you can implement this, and if this helps you in your retention, please buy me coffee. Do you want to know, today, can I say this? Blue collar, to retain your blue collar, your operator, your technician, right? Not easy. Yes or no? You guys are struggling. Recruiting them is not easy. Retaining them not easy. Now, do you know why employees abuse MC? Every now and then employee to MC, right? You think they're really sick? Some of them are sick, but some of them are not sick. Why? Now, if you talk to your employees, have a heart-to-heart chat with them, right? They will open up. Sometimes, today is 14, right? Today is 15. How much money you all pay? Your operators, 1,007, OT, etc., total 2,500, maybe 3,000. Payday, pay house, pay car, pay motorbike, finish. The next 29 days, they'll say prayer. So today, money, I don't have money. I'm your operator. I got no money, I got no money nak tuang minyak, no money for fuel. I come to work, I got no money to eat. So what I do? Today I said, boss, I MC, but he go and drive Grab. Right? Or do whatever he wants. Like drive Grab. Because the guy told me drive Grab. Why? Today I go and drive Grab, I'll earn 500. Because in KL, you drive Grab, you can get 400, 500. He earned 500. Now I got money, right? Tomorrow I come back to work. So some of them are taking MC to go and do another job so that they got some money in the pocket so they can survive. So if you want to retain your blue collar, consider this. Some of you all may call it as earned wage. They've already earned the wages. So I know you're all using a third-party tool. I'm not in favor of third-party tool. Why? Because if I'm running HR, I like to do it internally. Some of you all may use a third-party tool. There's a lot of providers, they call it earned wage access or whatever. Fine, you want to do it. But for me, I'd rather do it internally. Now, today is 15, right? Today is 15 of June. In 1 hour's time, I've already worked 15 days this month. I've already earned 50% of my basic hours. 50% I've already earned. But you're not paying me. You make me wait until the 30th, as though I earn Elon Musk salary. As though I got $1 million salary, I can survive. I am hand to mouth. Kais pagi, makan pagi. So why not you pay me 50% of what I've earned today? I've already earned, if my basic is 1,007, today, in 1 hour's time, I've already earned 850 ringgit basic salary, plus all the OT for the last 15 days. So what you can do, if you want to retain your blue collar, you want to make this as a plus point, Why I'm saying this? Because where I come from before, we pay mid-month. Some operators will tell me, you know what? I don't want to go to another company because they don't have mid-month. So why not pay mid-month? So today, if I'm an operator earning 1,007, I've already earned 850 ringgit. So why not you pay me 500? Or why not you pay me 700? Of course, you can pay all the full 850 is good. But you will say, oh no, what if they take money and run? Some of y'all, you will say that, oh, if I pay, what if you run? Now, let me ask you this. How many workers will run away? If you give them, let's say now, today I've earned 850, right? If you give me 600, you're afraid. What if you take the 600 and run? Now, let me ask you this. What we are doing, our mindset is a very evil mindset. You know why I say evil? Maha Zalim? Because majority of the employees will not go. A few will run. Maybe 3 or 4 will run. Oh, got 600, run. But majority will stay. But you know what you do? We punish the majority because of the minority. Because of the 2-3 people, we dare not give the, if you got 100 employees, because of the 3 or 4 who will run, you don't give the other 96 of them who are working hard, who are honest. Why are you worried about 3-4 who runs? Take the money and run. I rather not have them. Because these are the hantu-hantu. I rather not have them. But I don't want to punish the other 96 of them. The 96 of them, when you give mid-month, they will feel so appreciative. And mid-month is very easy. No need third-party provider. You talk to your payroll vendor, tweak your payroll process. Mid-month, just pay every operator. You can decide a formula. Every operator, 600. Every technician, 1,000, depending on what you pay them. Right? End of the month, no pay slip. No need to issue pay slip. End of the month, the remaining basic salary plus all the OT for the whole month or whatever allowances, you pay end of the month. I tell you, your blue collars, especially people earning 3,000-4,000, I tell you, anybody earning below 5, they will appreciate it. They will say, you know what, my company, give us advance. Actually, it's not really advance, it's their salary, but you're paying them in advance. And, so end of the middle of the month, they can survive. So if you want to retain your blue collar, consider doing this. Seriously, talk to your payroll vendor whether they can configure this for you or not. Now, let me tell you how this can benefit you or how can benefit the company to improve discipline. If you have any late coming, if you come late from the 1st to 15, late coming, emergency leave, abscond, no mid-month for you. So now, in order to qualify for mid-month, they will work. They will try to come. So this is one way to change their mindset about discipline. The reason I'm telling you, it is proven and tested. That's what I'm telling you. Give it a try. Consider it. Okay, so I've covered on advanced, deduction. Now, full-time, part-time, casual. As you know, what Employment Act says, anybody who work between 30% to 70% of the normal hours, which is 45 hours, they are part-timer. So part-timer, there's a regulation called part-time regulation. So go and read it. Part-time regulation, the law define what is, for example, if it's a full-time, I don't know whether I have it here. Okay, I don't have it here. So there is a comparison. Go to Facebook. There's a table that myself and Haji Hussein prepared. The comparison, annual leave, sick leave, public holiday, MC, the difference between part-time and full-time. So go and check it out. Now, how can you leverage on part-time? Many companies also don't know this. We are rigid. We are like communists. Everybody must be the same. Everybody must work full-time. But you can create a flexible workforce. Anybody here, do you have any employee having kidney failure that they need to go for dialysis? I'm going to give you one new idea. Anybody, yes, no? No, I will skip the idea. Anybody, you have any employee with having kidney failure, they must go for dialysis? Typically, those in dialysis, right, they will need to go for dialysis 3 times a week. Let's say Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And they will do it later part of the day, not morning, afternoon, because after dialysis, they cannot work. So today what happens, you will tell them full-timer, or you must take annual leave, unpaid leave, sick leave, time off. you complicate your payroll. You complicate your payroll process. So you can tell them, you know what, because you're not feeling well, you're having dialysis, kidney failure issue, we have a part-time employment policy or part-time employment arrangement. You come to work Mondays to Fridays, 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock, right? And you go back, go and do your dialysis. So your payroll is clean. Now, if Monday, they said, you know what, Monday, can I stay back? Can. You stay back, is OT. The system is configured to pick that up as OT. So your payroll is clean. Today, your payroll, I can tell you, when you manage this patient dialysis, right, you porak-perandakan your payroll. Time off, unpaid leave, sometimes they do give MC. Why? So, of course, when you work less, your pay is less. Normally, I encourage a 60% percentum. That means if you work half, I pay you 60% of your current salary. So it's a win-win. They will feel appreciated. Now, this part-time employment policy or part-time employment arrangement can also work for those people who are going to retire. Now, some of the guys who are almost retiring, you don't need 100% of them. You just, maybe you come Mondays to Fridays morning, afternoon you rest at home. Some of them, they don't want to work full-time. But because of your communist arrangement, everybody must come full-time. So they come, relax, some of them, I'm not saying they're bad, but they don't have much work to do. So sometimes they work, sometimes relax, etc. But the fools, they work 60% or 50%, you pay full. 50% work, you pay 100%. 50% work, you pay. So why? Why? Right? So, or mothers just deliver a child. The husband says, you know what, first kid, very precious, you stay at home. But if you allow them to work part-time, now, some of you all have work from home, fantastic. But what if you don't have work from home? What if this mother, she's an engineer, she's really good at something? You can tell her, you know what, you can convert to part-time, right? Mondays to Fridays, or maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The other 2 days, or maybe half day, you don't need to come. So when you do this, she will feel appreciated. I can still work and still jaga my kid, right? So these are areas that you can leverage on part-time. Now, I would encourage all of you all, talk to your payroll vendor. Get them to build this conversion into your payroll tool. So anytime, you can just automatically switch and the payroll tool computes what's the part-time arrangement benefit and pay. So now, this is how you create a flexible workforce. And okay, I will skip this. I've already covered just now. Remember, those employees in the green box, when there's a public holiday, you must pay them the public holiday rate if they work. You cannot replace with replacement leave or annual leave or whatever you call it. They must be paid. The red box, yes, you can replace. Okay, so I've covered all of this. Now, I've covered this right just now. The green box, you must pay them the public holiday rate. You cannot replace with annual leave. You want to give extra annual leave? No problem. More than welcome, but they must be paid. Okay, I'm done with the presentation. So before I go into the Q&A, a bit of advertisement. So these are the certification programs that we have. Now, those of you all, if you're a Bumiputra talent, the SHRM certification, the deadline is coming soon. The window may open in July. So you got to, if you're interested, you got to let us know now. Email Sophie, sign up now so that we can tell you what to do. There are documentation to prepare. So when the window opens up in January, you can quickly submit. Usually the window is very short. You miss the window, finish. Then you got to wait for next quarter. Next quarter, God don't have, we do not know. So for those of you all, if you're under YP, if you're a Bumiputra talent, you qualify. If you're interested to do this SHRM certification, fully paid for, 15,000 ringgit, 14 and 15,000 ringgit. Now, those who are under, if you want to pay yourself or you want to claim HRDF, your window is open forever, right? Those of you interested, do let us know. We also have certification in payroll, in comment ban, and many others. I think we're the only platform in Malaysia with all this. And whatever I've shared today, I can't go deep into some aspects, even though I've gone deep into some. This is covered in the masterclass. So if you are interested, July class, I think is almost full. If you're lucky, you'll get 1 or 2 seats. I think it's full, probably it's full. But if you're interested, write into us. But Kuching, Penang, Kota Kinabalu, we have got seats available. So what do we cover here? We go through all these things in detail. I teach you shortcuts, how to resolve your disciplinary process in half an hour and not 1 week, how to simplify your process, how not to do calculation when somebody resign. Today you all do calculation. The guy resigned, you calculate the pay, the boss in here agreed, change the date of the last day, you calculate again, you do endless calculation, right? The method I'll teach you, no need calculation. Life is so easy. So all this will be covered in the masterclass. Plenty of breakthroughs, how to do things right, how to give more to employees without having to ask the boss money. How can you leverage on, what do you call this, annual leave strategy, sick leave strategy. How do you save money on notice period? How to save money on notice period? Yes, you can save money on notice period. So all these are covered in the master class. Probably one of the best class in Malaysia lah. That's all I can say. So if you want, do join us. It's not cheap, 3,400 ringgit. Okay, and so this Tech Street is a platform that is jointly owned by HR Forum. Something new, something like Job Street, but this is for IT jobs, purely IT jobs. Free posting until December. So if you are hiring IT guys, please consider sharing your job. It's free. So to log in, techstreet.co, not .com, couldn't get .com, techstreet.co, put in your company profile, publish your job. Okay, so that's about it. So let me go to Q&A. Just give my team maybe 1 or 2 minutes to set up the Q&A. So if you have any questions, please ask. Okay, it is 5 o'clock. Now, those of you all, if you need to rush to another meeting or if you need to go home, please go. You can watch. So let me tell you this. The slides that I've shared today will be available in the forum. We're going to save it there. You can download it. This webinar, the recorded webinar, will be available in Facebook for the next 30 days. After 30 days, Facebook will remove it. Or you can also watch this recorded webinar in our YouTube channel. So either Facebook next 30 days or you can go to YouTube channel. So let me pick up some of the questions. I may not be able to answer all, but let me pick up some interesting one. The rest we can discuss. You can ask a question in Facebook. Or if you're on a WhatsApp group, you can also ask in WhatsApp group. Okay. What is the proper way to convert them from permanent to part-time, especially when the employee don't want to convert? Now, Mandy, you cannot force them. You cannot say that, I want you to convert. No, you make it as an option to them. You allow them to convert, but you cannot force them. You cannot insist that you must. If the guy don't want to. So the problem with us is this, Mandy. Now, I think I know why you're asking this question. Because you might have somebody who is not able to work full-time, but they're working full-time. Now you're asking me, how can I convert him? Don't convert him. You tell him that, hey, based on your condition, why not you convert? We have a policy, you can apply for it, right? And the company will review and we can work out a win-win. Not 50%. My advice, if you want to convert somebody from full-time to part-time and they're only working 50%, my advice is to pay them 60% of their pay. Don't touch the benefits. Not much a difference, the benefits, right? 7 days and 6 days, not much. Now, but what happens, Mandy, you're not telling me this, but I could be right. They actually have a problem. Either they've got disciplinary problem, attendance problem, and you are not taking action on them. But you're thinking, what can I do? My view is this. Take action on them. If you need to give a show cause letter, it doesn't matter whether they're sick or not. A rule is a rule. If you're sick, I understand, but rules has got to be followed. So please take action if they don't follow. Sometimes, as a result of you taking action, they will themselves automatically say, you know what, maybe I'll convert to part-time, right? Set up, first and foremost, please set up your part-time policy. Anybody here, if you want to do this as an assignment, I don't think I've shared a part-time policy in the forum. I don't think I have. So if you want, why not you design a part-time policy? I will help you to review, send it to me with a condition we share in Facebook so that the others can also look at it. So if you want to design a part-time policy, design one, send to me, I'll review, okay, you use it and we share a copy. So that is for those if you want to design one. Okay, I think next question is important. Yearly bonus based on performance and non-performance paid out in December. OT calculation will include only performance bonus. Now remember this CQA. Any payment, as you know, in other words, right, whether it's a performance bonus or non-performance bonus, if these two bonuses, you know, basically you're saying performance bonus and non-performance bonus, there are two types of bonus you pay. As long as the bonus amount is different from employee to employee, it has got to be part of ORP. That means if these people are the green box, it has got to be part of ORP. You got to calculate into the wages for the month. Okay, special incentive and sales commission include the calculation. Answer is yes, unless this incentive plan, commission, yes, for sure. Commission is, you know, if you look at definition of wages, commission is considered payment in cash for work done. Incentive, this special incentive, if it's not approved by labor, you have your own incentive approved by your board of directors or your CEO, it is part of wages, has got to be included in OT. So if you don't want to include in OT, this special incentive, please get labor department to approve it. If labor department approves, it is not wages. You do not need to include into wages. Okay, Mandy, waiting for another date after July. Talk to Firhana, right? Okay, Victory Lau. Any online session of masterclass? Sorry, no online for masterclass. I want to see you. I want to be able to scold you. I want to be able to throw dirty words on your bosses, right? Let me tell you this. Learning, don't set conditions. You want to learn, you want to make sure that your 3,004 is worth your money, come and see me face to face. Why is it that we can go holiday, we can go to Japan, enjoy life? Why not we watch Japan through YouTube? Why not we watch France? I want to go and see Eiffel Tower. Why not you see Eiffel Tower in YouTube? Why waste money buying flight ticket? Right? Why not, Taylor Swift's concert? Why not just watch live? Why must go to concert? BTS is coming, right? Why must buy BTS ticket? Why not concert live? Why not in YouTube? I tell you this, real learning face to face. So unfortunately, the reason why I don't do online masterclass, I know many of you asked before, there's a lot of calculation. I'll be using the whiteboard, a lot of calculation, a lot of citation. We need to refer, we need to interpret. I want to show you the forms and I want you to see my body language when I train you. So cannot do live. Very difficult. I can do live, but the biggest loser will be you, not me. You'll be the biggest loser. So please come, please enjoy the food, whether it's here or in a hotel, in Penang, etc. I tell you, you will gain a lot on a face-to-face. Okay, let me go to the next one. Okay, I think there's a question by Magdalene. Can you provide a better example for traveling allowance and transport allowance? For example, those who use car and claim petrol using receipt. Now, it's very simple. Now, I have a rule of thumb. This is my way of explaining. If you pay employee, okay, let's put the definition aside. Traveling or transport, don't worry about definition now. Let's say definition doesn't matter. When you pay employee money, and this money, they've already paid somebody else, you reimburse. They purchased petrol, they paid the toll, they paid parking, and now they give you a receipt. They say, boss, I went to PJ, I went to HR Forum for masterclass training, from Seremban to KL, I travel, petrol toll, 80 ringgit. So now the company pay you the 80 ringgit. This money, it does not go into your pocket because you've already paid somebody out. But transport allowance, there is no guarantee that the money has been paid out. The 100% of the money can go in your pocket. Some company will give you transport allowance. You might take LRT. Your husband may drop you. You may walk to work. You may cycle. You may buy the cheap LRT ticket, I think 50 ringgit or whatever. You may pay that, but the company give you 500. So the rule of thumb, right? Or shall I say Arul's rule of thumb? Anything that is reimbursement, that is traveling allowance. Anything that is not tied to reimbursement, there's no receipt, there's no evidence of payment, I would call that as a transport allowance. Let me give you a very strange thing that may happen. You give employee traveling allowance, this 500 ringgit, and you said that it will not be included in ORP. So he may not know. One day somebody talks to him, something triggers in his mind, why my company is not including this 500 into my ORP? Because this 500, I just like motor every month. So then you open up unnecessary questions. So my advice to all of y'all, the reason why you give transport allowance, because you don't want to have all this receipt, claim, etc. because leceh, mafan, right? So you just give a fixed sum. But this fixed sum, there's no proof that they incur expense. So that could be considered transport and not traveling. So that is a bit more a long-winded explanation, Magdalene. But why not call Labour Department, get their advice, right? So this advice I give you just now is Jabatan Tenaga Arul, JTA. Please call JTK. Okay? Yep. Junior executive below 4,000 can claim PH paid. Yes, as long as the salary is below 4K, or shall I say up to 4K, because it's wages up to 4K, wages above 4K. So that means wages up to 4,000. If they work on public holiday, they got to be paid 2 times ORP, and if they work more than normal hours, they got to be paid 3 times HRP, right? You have to. Okay, maybe I'll pick up 1 or 2 questions, then we call it a day. Okay, Zelda, I'd like to ask for the clarification if the basic salary is 3,000, transport allowance 500, so the OT calculation need to pay based on both transport and, yes, you're correct. When you calculate ORP to determine the OT, right? To calculate OT, you must calculate ORP first. So yes, when you calculate ORP, you take wages, the basic salary, and payments in cash, which includes transport allowance. So let's say now, if my salary, like what you have given example, 3,000 ringgit, when you calculate ORP, it is 3,005 divide 26 times 8 or 7.5, depending on your hours of work. So it is 3,500, not 3. Okay, Christine. Now this is a good question, Christine. I would like to seek your guidance on how we should treat our monthly perfect attendance. That means if you come full, you get a perfect attendance allowance from both payroll and tax perspective moving forward. I want to clarify 2 points. Definition of wages. Monthly attendance incentive is part of wages. This is considered other payments in cash. Now, how to understand this is, when you go back to section 2, it says that everything is wages except A, B, C, D, E, F. Perfect attendance allowance doesn't fall into A, doesn't fall into B, doesn't fall into C, D, E, F. So if whatever you pay is not in the exclusion list, tak ada dalam senarai yang dikecualikan, right? A, B, C, D, F is exempt, is not. So whatever you pay, if it's not part of A, B, C, D, E, F, it is wages. You got to calculate into your ORP. And I can safely tell you, you got to pay EPF on it, you got to pay tax on it. Okay, but please go and get it checked so that you are on the right path. Okay, Nurul, is it possible for management request employee not to clock in, clock out because of flexi hour thingy? Let me tell you, Nurul, do you know what Labour Department will say? You are required to take attendance of employees. If you don't take attendance of employees, no problem, just prepare maximum 50,000 ringgit, right? Call Labour Department and ask them, should company take attendance? Answer is yes. So why? Tomorrow when Labour come and audit you, and then they check, okay, I want to know your employees' hours. Oh, we are very flexible. Pasar malam, boleh masuk bila-bila keluar. Then you are asking for trouble. You are required to take attendance. You can maintain a simple, like those days, simple, the logbook, you just write what time in, out, also okay. You cannot have a system where, or a approach where no attendance. You can come in anytime you want, you can go anytime you want. You can do that. Then be prepared, Labour Department come anytime they want to your office, right? You got to take attendance as per the regulations. So shocking, right? Please go and check with Labour Department. Okay, let me skip that. I think Yeah, maybe let's keep this one all quite straightforward. Some of the questions you guys asked, right? Actually, if you really read, put on paper, train it up, study it, you'll get answers. Just that you like to ask quickly. Okay, any training in JB, Siti, Ismail, I'm so sorry, because for me, orang-orang Johor adalah sangat terpelajar. When we offer class in Johor, numbers are very few. So we decided no more Johor. So unfortunately, come to PJ, come and get some fresh air, come and see our academy and so on. Unfortunately, we will not be doing PJ because every time we promote PJ, numbers are low. Okay, maybe I'll just do one final question so that we can this one. Okay, there's a good question from Norishirin Idris. Do we get written proof of supporting documents from a plant manager whose salary is above 5K and claim OT for involving himself in production work? Now, there's two ways to look at it. It doesn't matter whether he's a manager, director, engineer, GM, it doesn't matter. But if they are supervising another manual labor, they are supervisors. They are entitled for OT. But if this guy, he says, I'm involved, right, above 5,000, he is a plant manager. Now, you may need to explain to me, when you say involved in production work, if he is overseeing the overseeing the operator, or even technician who's a manual labor, and it is part of his job, he oversees them, there's a high chance he is in a green box. So I would encourage you, please bring his job description, get Labor Department to advise you whether he's in a green box or the red box. So, but in my perspective, if he is supervising or overseeing another manual labor, right, he could be in the green box. Okay, so Siti, I'm from Johor, I studied in Dato Jaffa, I went to English College, I stay in Pasir Pelangi, but unfortunately, Johorians, when we run training, I don't know, numbers are very low. Okay, so I think I'll call it a day. It is 5:15, so sorry to hold you back, but thanks a lot. Now, for those of you all, if you want to, the slides will be shared in Facebook, and you can watch this recorded webinar. So we are done with the webinar for this quarter. So next quarter, we will have another series of webinar. We may repeat some of this, whether it's medical process management, whether it's EA, whether it's Sarawak Sabah Labour Ordinance, whether it's flexible arrangement, whether it's definition of wages, and so on. So we will do this, but for now, I think we are done with the webinars for this quarter. So for those of you all, if you want to know more, please ask in Facebook. Do join some of the seminars that we do. Today we had a seminar on, was it sexual harassment? Sexual harassment and penal code. It's a seminar. You pay 69 ringgit. So please attend all this. 69 ringgit for your morning break, lunch break, and your material. Right? We don't make money out of it. So please attend the seminars, the webinars. Please come to the conferences, etc. And for those of you all, if you want to know, if you're looking forward to looking at exploring Brio HR, drop us an email. Sophie@hrforum.com. I will send it to Meti. Meti can call you, right? Okay, I think we are done for today. So that's all for now. And thank you so much. The slides will be shared in Facebook in a short while. So for those of you all, the three of you all, have they given their address and contact number? Good. Yeah, okay. So we'll send the book to you in a few days' time. Okay, see all of you all. See you all. And pardon my language. Sometimes I'm a bit tough. I'm a bit rough. I'm a bit blunt. Not because I hate you guys or I want to belittle you, I want to maki hamon you, but sometimes, when a trainer is so gentle, we don't change, right? When the trainer is so gentle, sometimes we don't listen. But when the trainer is tough, hard, that's when you guys like, I know some of you said, this guy a terrible guy, calling me fools and idiot and whatnot, etc. The purpose is not to belittle you. I just want you to wake up to reality. I just want you to wake up and know that what are the things that we should be doing, what are things that we shouldn't be doing. That's all my objective. I'm a nice guy. If you see me separately, you'll be seeing me smiling, very polite, etc. But I'm a villain when it comes to webinars. Okay, so thanks a lot for joining us today. I hope this webinar has been helpful. And any questions, please ask in Facebook or the WhatsApp group. Bye.
Yeah, thanks a lot to the Penang show, the huge energy, like the crowd was like super active, super energetic, packed crowd, super interesting speakers. I mean, thanks a lot for this great day, hope you enjoyed it.
The only person that can resolve this is you. I'm not saying how you can resolve it, I'm just saying this is the problem.
The one thing I'm not scared of is it being a scary monster that will come after my job. It's about using it as a tool to be better, do more, but it's really just that, it's a tool.
Because people said, hey, I don't want to sell time, I want to sell output. There's a difference, because today you say I'm selling time. Now the equation changed because I say I think I'm more productive, I should sell output. And so what happened is many people, we started the freelancers. I will sell output because I'm productive, I can sell output.
So traditionally, we know about white collar, blue collar. So what Jeannie was referring to was new collar. They don't have degrees. They don't go for a 4-year degree program, but they do have skills certification. They go for macro credential and they go for hybrid. So unless you change your HR playbook, your competitor is going to get this talent.
All the best for 2026. It's going to be an exciting year. Have a great one. And again, Probus, thank you very much.